Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Go ahead and drop in while I'm getting everything connected. Go ahead and drop in your city and state where you're tuned in from. If you're not from America, put in the country that you're tuned in from, and let's see who we have tonight. You know the drill. Do that, and then hit the share button and invite your friends to jump on. Tonight's going to be a solid live. So let me know where you're tuning in from. Charlotte, thank you so much. Columbus, Chicago, appreciate you. Weehawken, New Jersey, never heard of it, but cool. Phoenix, Arizona, Venezuela, wow, thank you. West Palm Beach, Florida, Palmdale, California. Hey, Letitia, good to see you. Zena from Winston-Salem, appreciate you. Phoenix, again. Hanover, Pennsylvania, Columbia, South Carolina, Detroit, Michigan, Tucson, Arizona, Mount Holly, North Carolina, Fayetteville, Fort Wayne, Indiana. Good. Come on, TikTok, where y'all tune in from? Let me know where you're tuning in from, and then share the video. Atlanta, thank you, Faith and Focus. Huntersville, thank you, Tammany. Long Beach, California. Baltimore, Tampa. Marietta, Georgia. Princeton, New Jersey. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for your support. Somebody's already supported the show. Wow, really appreciate that. Thank you. Atlanta again, Central Mississippi, Beaufort, Georgia. All right, Montego Bay. Appreciate that. Thank you for the love, Montego Bay. I was just there a couple of weeks ago. Memphis, Tennessee, Atlanta, Georgia, Colonial Heights, Monroe, Michigan. Barbara, thank you so much, Miss Barbara. It was you. I appreciate you. Charla Hay, Alameda, California, of course, South Carolina, Howell, New Jersey, Colonial Heights, Virginia. All right. Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much. When you let me know where you're tuned in from, do me a favor, just hit the share button and tag your friends. Let's get the number up tonight. This is going to be a solid live, I believe. And I really appreciate it. O'Neill, Atlanta. Good, doing good, brother. Good to see you. Hope I'm going to see you on December the 14th. I can't wait to see you there. South Carolina. Thank you, Carlotta. Plainsboro, New Jersey, New York. Hey, Yamil, good to see you. I believe that's who that is. It's so good to see you, dear. Dallas, Texas, the stars at night. Coach Sean, appreciate you. Atlanta, Georgia, Oakland, California, Dallas. Really appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. Arlington, Texas. Thank you, Adam, Indianapolis. Hey, Tiff. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Hope that's my client, Tiff. Really proud of you. Arlington, hey, Yamil, good. I thought so. Thought that was you. All right. Like the video, share the video if you haven't already. Tag some people and tell them you tuned in. We're going to get started here in a second. I am excited to be back with you. I missed you guys last week, and certainly hopeful you've had an incredible week so far. This week has been a blur for me. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's been a blur, but I'm glad to be here. Brian Spence, what's up, brother? Appreciate you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Y'all like the video? Share the video on all networks. Let's get the numbers up tonight. In a big way. And so really appreciate you all. Missed you all last week, but thank you for the opportunity to just get some time with my kiddos. I don't recall a time when I was in school that we got a fall break, and nonetheless a whole week. They got a whole week of fall break. And I thought that was top tier. I don't even believe colleges get a whole week. I didn't get a whole week in college. I think I got like 2 days at the most. And so them getting like a whole week off was really clutch. But took them out of the country for the first time, and incredible experience. They had a ball, had a really good time. My skin has now kind of sort of is returning back to its pigment, but it wasn't the case just a couple of days ago. My skin has been peeling since last Thursday while we were there in the Dominican Republic. It was peeling, and so I hope y'all can still hear me. Let me know if you cannot. And so, yeah, just being out in the pool with them for 5 and 6 hours at a time was a lot of fun. I'm typically used to doing it by myself, and it's really relaxing for me. But to have them out there, all of us, our skin wrinkled, and we're laughing at people. I love to people watch. Had them out there, people watching. We were laughing and pointing and laughing at people, and so it was a good time. But really enjoyed that time with them. Missed you guys sincerely, but glad to be back tonight. Now, I want to get into this because we've got some work to do tonight. We've got some work, and I want to talk about a tough topic, and I want to shake you up a little bit tonight. All right, I want to shake you up a little bit tonight. Of course, I've got some announcements that I've got to share. Some things have shifted since we last talked, for sure. Some things have shifted for sure. And so I can't wait to share some announcements with you if you haven't already seen them already. New Orleans, I'm heading your way. November the 15th. If you have not purchased your tickets for New Orleans, do so right away. Those tickets are moving along. They are. And looking forward to a solid turnout in New Orleans. And then the finale for 2025 is going to be in Atlanta on December the 14th. And really excited about that. If you have not heard the word about Atlanta, it's going to be on a Sunday at noon. And we just added the incredible Peter Collins, who is an incredible musician. I had the pleasure of hearing him in Washington, D.C. In September. Incredible vocalist, incredible musician. And he's going to be joining us and joining the tour. When we close it out. So I can't wait to see you all there. Make sure you grab some tickets to both of those. Maybe you haven't even caught the tour this year and you want to catch it this year. Now it's not too late to catch a flight to New Orleans. It's definitely not too late to get a flight to Atlanta and treat yourself. And I would love to see you there. All right. We'll get more into some more announcements later. Let me just do a copy and paste here really quickly because I feel like my stuff is all over the place as it is every single week. While I'm doing that, let me thank all of my Patreon and IG subscribers. Thank you so much for your support. Let me tell you what I announced to them on Monday. In November, I will be releasing an entire year's catalog worth of content, course-like structure that we're going to start in 2026 for subscribers only. It's going to be very intensive, a lot of different topics, and I'm going to roll it out in the beginning of the year so that subscribers, you have it. And so now is a really good time to subscribe. I may run a little deal on subscriptions, perhaps maybe when my calendar releases on the 28th. We'll see. But now is a really good time to subscribe. It is going to be a really nice catalog, a lot of work. Going to be putting in a lot of work in that subscription space. If you've never been a subscriber, then you wouldn't know, but Mondays are like Thursdays, but much deeper conversations. and much deeper conversations for sure. And so if you're really serious about your healing journey, it's a great thing to be a part of. And I've already made a commitment that I'm going to do a lot more with subscribers in 26 just because of my workload. And I don't have a choice, if I'm being honest with you. There's so many hours of a day in the day, and I'm barely hanging on to what I'm doing now. Barely. So if you're interested in getting more work in, it's an um, incredibly, if I'm being honest with you, very inexpensive investment for the work that you'll get in that space. All right. Don't forget November the 28th, my books open up for new clients. And so if you're interested in becoming a new client, my calendar will open up for new clients November the 28th, and I'll have some information coming out about that really soon, a flyer that has all the details for those of you that don't know what that process looks like. And it's really simple. The calendar will release that day at a certain time. I'll make sure that that time is announced plenty in advance. And then my calendar will be open through my links on my site and all of my sites. And it's very important that you set your timer for that. If you've been following my work, you know this to be true, that my books typically fill up in a couple of minutes. It doesn't take long. So the spots will absolutely move very quickly. And so if you're interested, just go ahead and mark your calendar now for November the 28th, which is Black Friday here in America. And I will be giving some more details soon about the time, the slots that will be open, the packages, things like that. And we'll go from there. This class has really been a very interesting class and has lasted longer than some of my other classes. Some very incredible conversations, though. And so it works like that sometimes, but really excited about that and looking forward to it. All right, really quick. I'll get to more of those things. If you have not pre-ordered a copy of the work is now in full transmission. And so those orders went out this week. The pre-orders, and it was a ton of them. But I can't wait to get your feedback. I meant to bring a copy of the work in here. I think my kids have gone upstairs. I don't want to get up and go grab a copy. I want to show you guys how thick it is. It's literally 426 pages, 900 plus journal prompts. And the truth of the matter is, it's a very boring book. It's a very boring journal. So if you do not like doing the same things over and over and over again, don't order it. Doc, why you make it boring? Because repetition and discipline are the mothers of skill. If you ain't got no discipline, you're not going to be a good journaler. It's that simple. If you don't like the mundane of doing things over and over again, you're not going to be a good journaler. And chances are you're going to limit your results. And so is it hard? Yeah, it's called the work for a reason. And it's not hard because the prompts are difficult. It's hard because it's repetitive. And most people, if the gyms are empty by the third week in January, it's going to be a struggle for many of you to finish the work. Oh my God. So you've got to actually do some work in order for the work to work. And so it's very intentional, and just excited about it and really appreciate your support. Now, let's get ready to get into it. I want to thank the moderators on all of our networks that do a great job. Thank you so much for your support. This is Inspire Nation. And so do me a favor, if you happen to see comments in the chat area that are not cool, that are unprofessional, that are just ratchet, don't go back and forth with people on the bird level. Just drop an eagle in the chat area. And our moderators do a really good job of shooting the birds out of the air, right? In other words, they get them off the string. So you don't have to go back and forth with people. But let's keep the comments very professional, especially tonight, where frankly, my intent is to piss everybody off on this live that has ever claimed to have real anxiety. Oh my God. I'm telling you where we're going. So as I typically am in most of my Thursdays, as I always am in all of my content, I ain't friends with nobody. Let's just go ahead and set that tone now. I'm not friends with nobody. I ain't friends with women. I ain't friends with men. I'm equal opportunity. We got to have a serious conversation about this whole anxiety thing, and we're going to get into that. Let me say this quickly also. Support the show. The ways to support the show should be on the screen. If not, we'll get them up there. But support the show. You know how this works. If you support the show, and enough of you support the show, we'll leave this up. This will be one you will want to watch again. I can guarantee it. And if we don't have enough to support the show, I will keep this and save this and give it to our subscribers who will have unlimited replays. And so make sure you support the show. Naomi the Great. I don't know what the G stands for, but for me, it's the Great. I appreciate you, dear. Thank you for your support already. And so support the show. This is going to be one you're going to want to see again. The ways to support the show are on the screen. I want you to put in the chat tonight's topic and let's talk about it. It's not anxiety, it's alignment. Would you put that in the chat quickly? It's not anxiety, it's alignment. It's not anxiety, it's alignment. And I want to talk about this tonight, and this is going to be really good. And I want to challenge you. All right. I'm going to use my soundboard. I'm hoping I can grow my network and even grow this live space to have people here on site with me who can even run my soundboard, because I really want to start focusing more in on my content. I don't mind pressing the board. Of course, I get a kick out of it. You know, I'm a corny nerd and I'm good with that. But I really want to be able to focus in more. And I wish I could just hire somebody to just be here on Thursdays and just press the buttons. So we're working on some things. But I want to deal with this because this is a very serious conversation. And one of the things that I continue to be impressed about is how so many of my clients are dropping their anxiety meds. So many of my clients are dropping their anxiety meds. I mean, literally dropping them off like dead flies on a deck. And it's a beautiful thing. Meds for depression, dropping them off. It's a beautiful thing. Now, am I anti-medication? No, not anti-medication. There are some cases and some times where medication is appropriate for your situation. And if that medication is appropriate for your situation and you're not doing the real work to get off that medication, you should continue to take said medication so that you can keep you safe and keep all of us safe. So I'm not anti-medication. But let me tell you what I have a problem with. I think here in America, I can't speak for Canada or any other country because I don't live there. But I think here in America, we over-medicate. We over-medicate. I continue to get clients who come to me who tell me that a lot of their traditional therapists are quick to put them on medication for things that people can really work through if they do the work. Oh my God. I know this don't make me popular. Doesn't make me popular at all. Not in the professionals. They don't like this kind of conversation. But I'm telling you, many of you are overly medicated. And I have dozens. One dozen equals 12. I have dozens, multiple. It's got to be over the number 100 by now of clients who have come to me on medication and now are no longer on it. You know why? Because it is harder to help people work through their issues than it is for me to give you a pill and hope you can just calm down enough to live. And I'm talking to you right now. If you are tuned into this live and you are on medication for anxiety or depression, and you are given that medication from some type of counselor or therapist, let me tell you something. And with that medication, you are not provided any tools to help you grow with the goal of possibly coming off of it and being able to be sustainable on your own. You have been failed. Oh my God. I have friends that are doctors. I have friends that are nurses. I have friends that are therapists. I have friends in just about every single industry that you can think of. Education. In every education. Let me tell you something. We talk about drug dealers on the corner. We talk about drug dealers on the corner and on the street corners. No, the biggest pimp in drug dealers be in some of these pharmaceutical companies. Oh my God. And I'm going to prove it tonight. I'm going to prove this so simple using anxiety that some of you might even feel triggered by the time I'm done. But it ain't going to be triggered in the way that you think. It's going to be triggered because you're going to have to pause and ask yourself, if I am on this medication for anxiety, depression, if I'm on this medication and I have been provided the tools necessary to be able to move on beyond it, have I really been provided tools with the medication? And if the answer is no, you've been failed. You've absolutely been failed. Nobody pimps like folks prescribing medication. Oh my God. Okay? So is it a popular message? No. Am I always liked by colleagues in the coaching, counseling, therapy space? No, I'm not. I'm very much aware of that. But I'm a trailblazer. I'm not a follower. And I do this work because I authentically care about people who come to me who want to live a better life. And medication might be necessary for some, but it is not always the way. Y'all with me? I'm just looking through notes here. Naproxen, oh man, just so many different medications here. Naproxen, so many different medications. It's almost at a pace now of about one person coming off every 2 to 3 weeks. It's crazy. That's an insane rate. I take this serious. Okay? Let me give you a definition of anxiety. Y'all support the show. Let me give you a definition of anxiety. And the good news is I'm pretty rested. Kind of, sort of, at least from the break last week. Not rested from work this week. Far from it. Let me give you a definition of anxiety. You want my definition of anxiety? It's a simple one. It is the mental, emotional, or physical manifestation of stress. Record it. Put it in your journal. You're going to be the smartest person at the water cooler. Anxiety, the way I define it, I take complicated and make it simple. Let's make anxiety very simple. Anxiety is the mental, emotional, or physical manifestation of stress. Anxiety is the mental, emotional, or physical manifestation of stress. That's an easy, thank you, Scott Loon, I appreciate the support. That's an easy layman's term definition of anxiety. The physical, mental, or emotional manifestation of stress. You got that? Let's build on it. Then what is stress? You hear a lot of things about stress. Let me give you a simple 4-word definition of stress. I'm going to take this and break this down in bite-sized chunks, and then I'm going to give you a reflection and give you some ways of some things that you all are calling anxiety that's really something else. Stress, 4-word definition: tension caused by disagreement. Stay with me. Stick with me. You're going to be the smartest person at the water cooler tomorrow. Stress is tension caused by disagreement. These are custom definitions. Use them in your workshops. Give me credit. Not because I need it, but because y'all need to stop stealing. Oh my God. Stress is tension caused by disagreement. Now, anxiety is the mental, emotional, or physical manifestation of stress. Stress is tension caused by disagreement. What is disagreement? I'm glad you asked. Disagreement. Y'all writing all of this stuff down? Disagreement in the context of your well-being. Disagreement in the context of your well-being is when things in your life are not fully aligned. Record it. Disagreement. To put this simple, we're going to take all the complicated medical stuff, put it in bite size. Disagreement is when things in your life are not operating in full alignment. And when I say things, I mean everything. When everything in your life, not part of it, when everything in your life is not operating in full agreement, you're going to be living in what I call, full alignment. You're going to be living in what I call disagreement. Every part of your life. Which means, if you go back and look at my value system, if you haven't downloaded my value system, do it right away. It's going to help you. When I teach people to identify their values, the goal of it is to create life agreement. That you should not desire one thing for one part of your life without having the same desire in every part of your life. Or else you live a life where your life is not operating in full alignment. So let's backtrack, because I'm building a case. I said, look at your notes. Anxiety is the mental, emotional, or physical manifestation of stress. Put that at the top. Anxiety, the mental, emotional, or physical manifestation of stress. Come under that. Stress is tension caused by disagreement. Stress is tension caused by disagreement. What's disagreement? Come under that. Disagreement is when everything in your life is not operating in full alignment. Disagreement is when everything in your life is not operating in full alignment. Now we're down to what we need. Notice we started with anxiety. We're ending with alignment. You should be saying, then what is alignment? Let me give you that definition. You ready? Alignment is when what you say, what you do, let's switch that. What you believe and what you do all agree. Alignment is when what you say, what you do, and what you say, what you believe, and what you do all agree. Anxiety, the mental, emotional, or physical manifestation of stress. What's stress? Tension caused by disagreement. What's disagreement? It's when everything in your life is not operating in full alignment. What's alignment? It's when what you say, what you believe, and what you do agree. Y'all follow the logic? Now watch this. Why is this important? Because when what you say, what you do, and what you believe don't agree, your life is not going to be in agreement. If your life is not in agreement, you're going to feel something called stress. And if you are feeling stress, it's going to be manifested mentally, emotionally, or physically. Start at the bottom, work your way back up. This is not hard. This is not hard. If you agree that anxiety is the mental, emotional, or physical manifestation of stress, put a 1 in the chat area now. Do it. If you agree that anxiety is the mental, emotional, or physical manifestation of stress, Put a 1 in the chat area now. Watch this. Hurry. Based on what I just proved to you. Well, with all of these ones, if a person says to you, man, I tell you what, how was your day? How was your day, Paul? My day was great. You know, it was cool. You know, I had a little bit of anxiety. What you have anxiety over? Man, I was just feeling just anxiety. I was anxious. What you do about it? No, man, I had to just learn. I'm learning how to manage my anxiety. Man, I have anxiety. It is normal to have stress when what you say, what you believe, and what you do don't agree. And I'm going to make this real plain, and I'm going to say this now. Some of you don't have anxiety or stress. Some of you just don't have agreement. I don't care what the Dr. Phil, no, I don't care. Some of you don't have anxiety. Your issue is your life ain't in agreement. And let me tell you something. If I had a first-class job, but a coach relationship, I'd be stressed out too. Oh my God. If I had peace on my job, but didn't have peace in my house, I'd be stressed too. Oh my God. If I had peace at my house, but not peace on my job, I'd be stressed too. Oh my God. Some of this stuff y'all calling anxiety and stress, you know what it is? It's lack of agreement. Your life ain't in agreement. And let me tell you something. Anything that is a part of one being that doesn't agree absolutely becomes a freak show. Oh my God. Thank you for your support, Peaches. Y'all support the show. You're going to want this one again. When you and your life do not flow in a unanimous, homogeneous type of way, where one part of your life is flowing here, the other part is flowing here, the other part is flowing there, the other part is flowing there, you got a mess on your hands. Hey, ladies, put in the chat, ladies, if you've ever worn a girdle, put a 1 in the chat. No. Put a 2 in the chat. If you've ever worn a girdle, put a 2 in the chat. Come on, hurry up. You can do it. Y'all support the show. You ever worn a girdle, put a 2 in the chat. Anybody? Go, 2s. Look at all of these 2s. Great. What many of you don't know is I used to teach professional development on the college level. Preparing people, students for the workforce. And so I taught professional dress courses. And so y'all let these hats and stuff fool you, right? Because you typically see my videos, hats and t-shirts. If you've ever seen me personally, I can put on some clothes a little bit, just a little bit. I taught a professional development course where I would teach women and men how to dress and prepare for things like interviews and workforce attire, stuff like I did all that, workforce development, all that space. That's how I got my start in this space. So, taught ladies the 1.5 to 2 inch rule when it comes to heels. I was a mean teacher. I got down on a knee with a ruler and I would measure heels. And I did that when I first started until I got so good that I can now look at a pair of heels and tell you how many inches they are. Students hated me at first. They all loved me by the end of the year. One of the things I used to talk to women about, ladies, is putting on undergarments. You know why? Because a girdle, Spanx, whatever you want to call them, when those things go under your dress, that girdle has one job. The job of that girdle is to take your body parts, because some of you got stuff going that way. Some of you got stuff going that way. Oh my God. That way. Oh my God. That way. Oh my God. That way. And when you put on that girdle, it takes your body and does this. You know what that's called? Alignment. When your life is in alignment, it is like putting a girdle on your life. So when your relationship way over there, your relationships way over there, and your career way over here, and your kids way over there, and your family way down here, and your money way down there, we're going to create some values, and we're going to make everything in the life line up. That's what your life looks like without alignment. I would have to get on women, shapely young women who had great shapes but had no underclothes. So when they walked, everything was moving its own direction. And for the club on Friday night, it looked great. But for an interview, it looked like somebody wanted to grab some dollar bills and start throwing them. Oh my God. And let me tell you something. When your life is not in alignment, and the things and the parts in your life are moving everywhere that they are, let me tell you something. When your parts are moving everywhere that they are and you don't have alignment, you're going to be hard to consume. Not only are you going to be hard to consume, you're going to have a hard time consuming your own life. Oh my God. Some of y'all calling it stress. I call it having great relationships, but you hate your job. Or you love your job, but you got poor relationships. Or you have a measure by which you approach your work, but you don't apply the same measure to your personal relationships. I find it odd in this space how people have certain standards in their work. Let me just this is just the easy fish to kill. You ready? The easy fish to kill is, I always find it out in my work how people, lawyers, doctors, teachers, nurses, you name it, consultants, counselors, I have clients that are there, you name it, have all of these great work standards, but their life, their personal life, they don't have the same standards. And there's no way in heck you can have life alignment if your workplace got a set of standards, your money and how you manage it got a set of standards, your relationships got a different set of standards. Baby, when you walking, everything about you is going to be going all kinds of different directions. No alignment. And that's the problem. This is the problem. So, my argument is real simple. The number one way to fix anxiety, what did we say? The mental, emotional, or physical manifestation of stress. The number one way to fix anxiety is to do what? Fix alignment. If you want to fix your anxiety, correct your alignment. Which means you're going to have to do an assessment of your life. You're going to need to figure out your values. I need you to go ahead and download the value system if you haven't already. You're going to need to figure out your value. And then you're going to need to make sure that every part of your life is lined up with these set of values. Because I'm going to tell you, I'm not telling you, because I see the question on TikTok, I'm not saying a source of anxiety is not having alignment in all your life. I'm telling you the source of anxiety is not having alignment in your life. That's exactly what I'm telling you. Don't confuse alignment with trauma. You might have to come to the subscriber space to get that. Don't confuse alignment with trauma. If you had a traumatic experience, that trauma can create some anxiety. I'm not talking about trauma. I'm talking about this stuff that y'all calling anxiety when you just stressed out. Well, why are you stressed out? And it ain't got nothing to do with no trauma. I'm talking about that stuff. Oh, I'm having a bad day. People getting on my nerves. No. 100% of that is alignment. Where's the place we can start? Let me give you a place where we can start. And then I'm going to give you some things that's going to happen that you need to consider that will also feed into this lack of alignment. Here's a place where we can start. We can start with your nervous system. You want to go ahead and start creating some alignment in your life? Fix your nervous system. What's that? Let me give you my definition of a nervous system. Your nervous system is the harmony or deregulation of your mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. We'll talk about that last one in a second. It is the harmony or deregulation of your mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. My definition. In my words, so that you can consume it. It is the harmony or deregulation of your mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. People throwing out nervous system. You putting up memes about nervous system. I don't want anybody in my life that mess up my nervous system, and people don't even know what they're talking about. What they're saying is that I don't want to put anything in my life, any relationships in my life, that will screw up the harmony or deregulate my mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. In other words, that will mess up the alignment between my thoughts, my emotions, and my spirit. When your thoughts, emotion, and spirit agree, your nervous system is calm. Y'all writing this down? Come on, hurry up. When your thoughts, emotions, and spirit agree, you will have a calm nervous system, which means, you ready? You never agree with decisions in your life where all three of them are not on board. Uh-oh. This is where I'm going to lose you. This is where I'm going to lose you. Y'all not supporting this show. I told you you're going to want it. They not supporting. You're not supporting. I told y'all are going to want this show. Let me tell you something. You should never make a decision where your thoughts, emotions, and spirit are not in full agreement. Yeah, I want my nervous system. I gotta regulate my nervous. Well, how are you doing that? Meditating. Well, that's great. Exercising. Great. I take deep breaths. Wonderful. Do you have mental, emotional, and spiritual agreement? Next time a person that says that, ask them, do you have mental, emotional, and spiritual agreement? That's probably what you're gonna hear. Because if you do not have mental, emotional, and spiritual agreement, your nervous system cannot be regulated. And you should never make a decision. You should never latch on to anything. You should never even do anything where there's not mental, emotional, and spiritual agreement, which means your decision to take a job should make sense in your mind, in your heart, and in your spirit. Thank you so much, Jenny Lee, for your support. I appreciate that. That really means a lot to me. Thank you. Your decision to be in a relationship should agree with your thoughts, your emotions, and your spirit. Let me just park right there for a second. Because most of y'all, this anxiety that you feel is typically, this is just the data that I have. Typically, when people come to me whining about anxiety, normally it's connected to a person. 92% of the time, it's connected to a person. It's connected to a person. And the only thing that's going to fix it is not exercise. Worship music's great. God bless you. Worship music ain't going to fix it either. I'm going to just get in so much trouble tonight. Duh. Worship music is not going to regulate my nervous system. No, it ain't. You know why? Because you can even listen to worship music. But if you listen to worship music, finish crying, and then still make bad decisions, your nervous system is going to respond accordingly. Oh my God. Worship music is not going to make the decision for you. Your thoughts and your emotions and your spirit have to agree. Why do you think people go to the mosque, go to the temple, go to church every week, and they still making dumb decisions? You would think the choir music that you heard at the mosque would have helped you. I know some of you gonna take that and you're gonna take the clip, say, "Oh my God, he doesn't believe." No. I'm just telling you, there's more work you got to do. I love that tip. I'm so proud of you. Thank you so much. That just means there's more work to do. And some of you, like medication, when you rely just on, because I'm gonna tell you what some of y'all do for anxiety. You ready? Let me give y'all the laundry list of things you do to fix your anxiety. Oh gosh, you go to the spa. Oh my God. Hey, it's great. I love the spa. You go to the sauna. Hey, oh my God. It's great. I love the sauna. I'm gonna talk about that. Amber has a great question on TikTok. How do you keep all three in alignment if you're not exactly spiritual? We might need to have a conversation about being spiritual. I'm gonna get to that in a second, Amber. Don't leave, please. So you go to the sauna. Sauna ain't gonna create no alignment. The sauna ain't gonna make no decisions for you. It'll relax you. Well, doc, I exercise 6 days a week. Wonderful. Congratulations. That ain't gonna create no alignment either. It'll relax you. Oh my God. Well, doc, I go shopping. Wonderful. I love a nice pair of shoes and a suit. It ain't gonna create alignment. Well, doc, I travel. I catch flights. Wonderful. That ain't gonna fix your alignment either. Oh my God. You know why? Because after all of those actions, if your thoughts and your feelings and your spirit don't agree, you're gonna have a problem. Now, this leads me to a really good question that came up on TikTok that I've got to address. Because some of you that are new to my channel don't realize that, yes, I am a believer. I'm a Christian. But guess what? I have clients and friends. Thank you, Ms. Dixon, for your support. I have clients and friends who are atheist, Muslim, Buddhist, agnostic, Seventh-day Adventist, Catholic, Baptist, Methodist, you name it. I'm in 47 countries. So what would make an atheist come to me to have their life healed? I'll tell you what. Because even the atheists, some atheists, don't even realize that there are things in your life you are going to have to address that are greater than what you comprehend. And you know what it requires to address things in your life greater than comprehension? Spiritual foundation. Your spiritual foundation is designed for the things in your life that you don't understand. And if you just look around, there are a lot of things going on that you don't understand that you ain't got an explanation for. So how do then I deal with things in my life that happened that I didn't cause, that were not the result of my own behavior, that had nothing to do with me but found me, but it's throwing off my alignment because it's creating stress? Well, that ain't gonna make sense in your mind. You're dealing with the job. Let's talk to you that are laid off from the government. Let's make this a real life example. Let's talk to those of you that have been furloughed from the government because of this whole shutdown that's going on here in America. So the government is shut down. You've lost your job. You came to work every day. Never missed a day. Faithful in your work. And these people can't get along and fix stuff. So now the government is shut down. So you have to pay for a bunch of grown men and women who cannot sit at a table, put aside their own problems, their own issues with one another for the greater good of mankind, and now you're jobless. And if I looked you in the face and say to you, how you gonna manage that? You should say to me, the human in you should say, well, doc, this ain't my fault. I didn't do it. I'm not the reason I lost my job. It's their fault. I agree. So how are you going to process the stress that comes with it? Because in your mind, it doesn't make sense for me to tell you, hey, it's going to be all right. It won't your fault. In your heart or your emotions, it ain't going to make sense for you to feel like things are going to get better when you didn't have nothing to do with this in the first place. So if it don't make sense in your mind and it don't click in your emotions, you got to tap into something greater than what you can see and greater than what you can understand. That's what you need a spiritual foundation for. I have clients. I can think of 2 clients. One was stage 3 cancer, one was stage 4. The stage 4 client was given a couple of months to live. The stage 3 client was told that within the next year they would be stage 4 and the countdown would begin for them. Both of them are cancer free. When they were told that, there was a lot of anxiety. There was a lot of mental, emotional, and physical manifestation of stress. When a doctor looks you in the face and says you have a couple of months to live, in your mind, if I tell you it's going to be all right mentally, that makes no sense, does it? When a doctor says to you, you got a couple of months to live, your emotions, your feelings are going to have you feeling all kinds of bad. Rightfully so. You're human. So it don't make sense in your emotions for me to turn around and say, well, things are going to still work out. You know why? You got stage 4. So if it don't make sense in your mind and it doesn't make sense in your emotions, how can it make sense then if our nervous system can't be regulated by just our thoughts and our feelings? It's got to require something else. There are some things that your thoughts and your emotions will be enough. There are some things, like being told you have stage 4 cancer and you got a couple of months to live. There are some things that your mind ain't going to be able to grasp and your emotions ain't going to want to be able to hold. So this ain't going to even really make sense because many people in this space, the coaching, counseling, therapy space, they don't include spiritual work in their work. That's another thing that makes my stuff different. Because when clients come to me with things that really are just way out there, and I've heard just about every story under the sun that you can think of, and they have no hope, and what I'm saying to them doesn't make mental sense or emotional sense, they have to tap into something. For some, it's Buddha. For some, it's Allah. For some of us, it's Jesus Christ. Here's the good news. I've been called to help everybody. Not just people y'all like. Just not people you agree with. If you want alignment, your nervous system has to be in harmony. Your thoughts, your emotions, and your spirit have to be on the same page. And I'm telling you now, if you do not make decisions with agreement in all three of those areas, your nervous system eventually is going to respond. Sis, he made sense in your head. He made sense in your heart, unfortunately. But you never checked on your spirit. And y'all don't even believe, thank you, Faith, on TikTok. Y'all don't believe in the spiritual talk, but you do recognize that your body is triune. Your body, as Faith says, is mind, body, and spirit. You believe that, don't you? Yeah, fellas, you did the same thing. She made sense in your head with your thoughts. She made sense in your head. You check that part. Yeah, this makes logical sense. She's smart. She's beautiful. She's successful. She's that. Wow. She made sense in your heart and your feelings. She made your toes curl and your heart flutter. And you thought that was enough. She made sense in your heart, so you married her. But you never cross-checked her against your spirit. Now look. And when you don't cross-check it and things start going wrong, and now your nervous system is all over the place. And now you're stressed out. And now you're calling it anxiety. No. It's not anxiety. It's a lack of alignment. You missed the box. So when y'all start telling people or asking if people or situations check all the boxes, stop coming up with these lists. Checking all the boxes has a new meaning now. You ready? I'm going to make the list simple for you. 3 things. Any decision you make in your life, it's got to make sense in your mind, it's got to make sense in your heart, and it's got to make sense in your spirit. God, I'm going to take this job and move and relocate. Does it make sense in your mind? Does it make sense in your heart? And does it make sense in your spirit? Doc, I'm getting ready to start dating again. I just got off a divorce and I've been divorced for 6 months and I'm getting lonely and it's time for me to be with somebody. Perfect. Does it make sense in your mind? Does it make sense in your heart? Does it make sense with your spirit? Now, I see some of you asking, and I'm not going to take this conversation this far this way for very long, but I'll give you about 4 minutes. You ready? Some of you are saying, well, then, Doc, how do we check in with the spirit? I'm glad you asked. You know why I hate the phrase trust your gut? Let me explain. When people say trusting your gut or saying trusting your intuition is only as healed as your thoughts and your emotions are on the same page. When your thoughts and emotions are on the same page, your intuition can be trusted. Let me school y'all real quick. Most of you make decisions with your heart first and your thoughts second, especially when it comes to love. Y'all be choosing people because they feel good here first, instead of making sure they feel good here first. If they feel good here first, your heart is deceptive. Your heart has a really good canny way of trying to convince your brain of anything it wants to. So when you trust your gut, listen to me. When you trust your gut, but there is no mental and emotional agreement, you are instantly out of order. So where's the spirit come into play? I'm glad you asked. There's this word I want y'all to remember that I'm going to make this simple, that is universal, regardless of your religion, your faith, your race, your creed. It don't matter. I want you to put this word in the comment box, comment section, and put it in your journal. Are y'all supporting this show? Yeah. Subscribers, y'all gonna get a good one tonight. I can see it coming because there's no support coming in here tonight. This is crazy. I want to put a word in the chat. Maybe y'all still writing. I think a lot of y'all writing because I don't see a lot of comments tonight. The room is starting to fill. I'm going to put a word. I want you to type a word in the chat that's going to help you. And this word is universal, regardless of your race, your religion, whatever. And that word is called discernment. Let me show you how discernment works. Let me give you a layman's example of what discernment is and how to use it. And this connects to those of you that are saying, well, then how do I use my spirit? How do I tap into that? Watch this. Because the spiritual part of you, because you got one, whether you acknowledge it or not, the spiritual part of you gets activated in a very simple way. Watch. This ain't in my notes. I'm typing it. God, this is so good. You ready? This is just crazy. This is just really crazy good. You want to know when discernment shows up? Discernment activates when your thoughts and emotions agree, but your anxiety don't disappear. Let me school you. Let me show you how your spirit gets activated and how we use it. Let's just say your discernment, let me tell you again, and let me give you an example. Your discernment activates when your thoughts and emotions agree, but your anxiety doesn't disappear. When your thoughts and emotions agree, but your anxiety, what did we say anxiety was? The mental, emotional, physical manifestation of stress. Your anxiety doesn't disappear. Let me give you an easy example. And some of y'all are going to start tapping into something you didn't even know you had. Let's just say you have to make a decision on whether or not to date someone. Let's use something that y'all are always in. Should I love this person? Should I date this person? Should I marry this person? Let's up the ante. Let's say marriage. You've been dating somebody, and y'all have been talking, and there's been conversation about whether or not to get married. And you've been thinking about it, and you've been maybe praying if you pray. Maybe you don't pray. Maybe you're one of the people that's tuning in and say, Doc, I don't even know if I got a spiritual thing. Perfect. So let's just say you ain't praying or you are praying. Don't matter. You've been giving it some thought. And so you've been thinking about this person. You think you like them. So in your mind, it makes sense. Yeah, we got a history. It makes sense for us to get married. I could see me being with this person. We've been with one another, etc. So mentally, it makes sense. Watch this. Because you're comfortable with them, your heart, your emotions might say, well, yeah, this makes sense. We've been together for 3 years. I know him. He knows me. I know her. She knows me. We know each other's family. We're comfortable. We spent this time on them. We travel. We make these plans. Da, 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 da. So my heart feels very comfortable. My thoughts feel very comfortable. But watch this. Your thoughts and your heart feel on the same page, but something's still not selling. Here we go. And you don't know what it is. Have you ever made a decision where your heart and your mind were on the same page, but you still didn't feel at ease? If you can answer yes to that question, I want you to put a 3 in the chat. If you've ever had to solve a problem and your heart and your thoughts were on the same page, but you still didn't feel at ease, put a 3 in the chat. You know what that means? That means you need something called discernment to determine what the proper decision is. And I'm going to give you another clue to this, that if for some reason you are making a decision and your thoughts and your emotions are on the same page, but you do not feel at ease with it, the best thing that I can advise you to do is to be very careful with that decision, because you don't even have to know what the problem is when you tap into discernment. All you got to know is that there is a problem. I want to say this again slow. When you tap into this for real, you don't have to know what the problem is when you have discernment. Discernment and tapping into a spiritual you ain't about knowing what it is. It's about just knowing something ain't right. And how many dumb decisions would you have avoided if you, instead of not knowing what was wrong, and you did it anyway, when you didn't know what was wrong, but your heart and your mind agreed, but you still didn't feel at ease, and instead of just going for it anyway, you just said, let me just pause. You know how much problems you would have avoided? So there's your 4-minute lesson. I ain't gonna make this all spiritual tonight, but there's your 4-minute. That's discernment in a nutshell. Discernment activates when your thoughts and emotions agree, but something still ain't sitting right. Oh, that was salad worthy. Y'all not supporting this show. Subscribers, y'all gonna eat. I will have this up before midnight tonight, subscribers, because they not supporting. I'm telling you, you're gonna want this one again, because you gotta hear this again over and over and over. Yeah, put in the chat levels in all caps. There's levels to this work. That's why I include a spiritual foundation in your healing journey. A lot of counselors, therapists, coaches don't think nothing about none of that. I do. Because sometimes the science will have your thoughts agreeing, the science will have your emotions feeling good, but the science will still have you uneasy. So what you gonna do then? You're gonna need some discernment. And discernment will activate. Your stomach will still be turning, even though it makes sense in your head to marry him. It makes sense in your heart to marry him, but your stomach is still turning. You know what that is? That's discernment kicking in. That's saying, hey, 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 something's wrong. I don't know if you can handle it. Maybe I'm not going to tell you. Maybe I will, but just hold on. The best thing you can do, my friends, is to not do nothing at all. Thank you, Miss Tammany, for your support. I appreciate you, dear. So it's simple. The decisions you make in your life that are going to help to regulate your nervous system need to be decisions where your thoughts, your emotions, and your spirit all agree. If your thoughts, if your emotions, if your spirit all agree, your nervous system is going to be regulated. I like that, Ms. Robinson, another client. Appreciate you and your support. Discernment never lies, even if it don't give you the details. That's a bar. Discernment never lies, even if you don't get the details. Discernment never lies, even without the details. You don't need the details. All you just need to know is something ain't right. Thank you, Sunkiss. I appreciate your support. Brother Brian, thank you so much for your support. Appreciate you. Instagram is quiet. I don't see no comments on Instagram. Y'all there, Instagram? I ain't seen the comments move in Instagram for the last 3 minutes. Is Instagram still connected? Y'all must be locked in or having a party over there. Discernment never lies, even without the details. You don't need details. I don't care what your pastor, I don't care what your grandma told you. I'm telling you, you don't need details for discernment. And in fact, I can speak on this. I could do a whole session on this because a lot of the older adults, they ain't got as many degrees as you. They might not be as book smart as you. They might not be as polished as you. But let me tell you something about this older generation that we sometimes try to write off. These older boomers, this lost generation, upper 60s, 70s, and 80 plus. We try to write them off. They ain't have no whole bunch of degrees. Mm-mm. But let me tell you what they could do. They could meet you and they be in their 70s, you in your 20s. They meet you and meet your little friend. You bring your friend over to the cookout. You bring her, bring him over. They ain't got no psychology degree. Some of them didn't even finish my grandparents didn't even finish high school. I mean, finish school. They didn't make it to high school. They didn't finish high school, no degrees, no nothing. And you bring her to the cookout, you bring him to the cookout, and you introduce them to grandma and grandpa. They shake their hands and be smart and smile and cordial. And then when you ask them, like, grandma, papa, what you think about them? That's not it, baby. That ain't it. Huh? Really? No, that ain't it. Where do you think they get that from? I mean, your friend got a great job. Your friend looks nice. Your friend was mannerable. Your friend was respectful. Your friend was nice and kind and was helping out at the cookout. They was doing all of this stuff, and none of that counted. In their mind, it should have made sense. Or in their mind, it probably did make sense. That person did make sense. In their heart, it probably did make sense. But something wasn't settling. And a lot of times when you ask them, what was it, grandma? What was it, papa? Why didn't you like them? A lot of times they didn't have a specific reason. Some of them did. A lot of it's just like, I don't know. Something just ain't right. That's called discernment. And that's why I respect the older generation. That's why I miss my grandmother. Because she look at you and maybe like, that's not it, baby. Well, grandma, what's wrong? I don't know, but that ain't it. Y'all call it energy off. Energy, spirit. Oh my God. Let me give y'all some things and let me wrap this up. So we got to get that nervous system in alignment. I want y'all put this in the chat. Yeah, Instagram is not doing any comments anymore. I don't know. Is Instagram frozen? Are y'all frozen? Instagram must be frozen because I don't see any comments anymore on Instagram. They have to be frozen. I want you to put this in the chat. Put this in your notebook. Every decision okay, it isn't frozen. Okay, I don't know what's going on. I can't even see the comments. This is really weird. Put this in the chat. Every decision in my life has to agree with 3 parts of me. Our thoughts, our emotions, our spirit. Every decision in my life has to agree with 3 parts of me. That's how you regulate your nervous system. Watch this. And sometimes, y'all, you're going to make decisions that agree with all 3 parts, but it ain't going to be the decision you want. You ready? Let's go back to this relationship thing. You ever met a person that was a great person, very nice? Could be a wonderful person, a wonderful partner, but something just wasn't right. Something just wasn't fully aligned. So in your mind, it made sense to be with them. In your heart, it made sense to be with them. But your spirit, you didn't have full agreement. Your discernment kicked in because your heart and your mind agreed, but you still felt not at ease. So when you have to have that conversation and say, hey, I don't think this is a great idea. I don't think that we should continue forward. This is a great match. That's painful. Because that's a good person. They could make somebody a good mate, but guess what? I'm here to tell you, if you make the hard decision now, you won't have to make a hard decision later. I want to say it slow. If you can make the hard, aligned decision now, you won't have to make the hard decision later. You know what that's going to do with this stuff that y'all calling anxiety? Throws it in the trash. Yeah, you're going to feel a little sting, a little pain for a second, but you ain't going to have no anxiety later. You know why? Because you have sacrificed what you wanted for what is aligned. Put this in the chat. Be willing to sacrifice what you want. This is a whole bar and it's salad worthy. Y'all got my stomach over here growling, not supporting. Be willing to sacrifice what you want for what aligns. Because sometimes the stuff you want don't align. And your alignment is more important than what you want. Sweetheart, he could be fine, tall, 6'10", wear a size 16 shoe, make $200,000 a year, and go to church every Sunday. But if it makes sense in your mind, in your heart, but it don't make sense and it still has you not at ease, you better be very careful. Fellas, she could be drop dead gorgeous, great career, sweet, nice, get along with your family, all of that stuff, beautiful parent. If she's already a parent, whatever, make a beautiful mother. What? It can make sense in your mind and in your heart. But if your spirit ain't settled, proceed with caution. You got to be willing to sacrifice what you want for what aligns. And they ain't always the same. And you know what that does? That takes this stuff that y'all calling anxiety and it throws it in the trash. Because pain ain't anxiety. It's painful to walk away from something that you want, that mentally aligns, emotionally aligns, but it ain't clicking with your spirit. And you calling that anxiety, I'm so stressed out. No, you're not. That's pain. It's painful to see a person that is a great person, but you know you got to walk away because they ain't quite the fit that you need. And you might not even have a full reason. You just know it ain't no alignment. That ain't anxiety. That's pain. And pain and anxiety are not the same. Pain be the result of a decision. This is so good. Pain, I know I said be the result. I got a real PhD. I can talk how I want to talk. Pain be the result of a decision. Anxiety is the result of misalignment. Pain be the result of a decision. I know I said pain be. You got the right, you have my permission to talk how you want to talk here. Pain be the result of a decision. Anxiety is the result of misalignment. Which means there's going to be some pain you can't avoid when alignment's the goal. If alignment's the goal, here's the bad news. You're going to have to feel bad some days.
Oh my God.
If alignment's the goal, you're going to have to walk away from some stuff that you really want sometimes. Oh my God. When alignment's the goal, you're going to have to say no to some stuff you want to say yes to. Oh my God. When alignment's the goal, you're going to have to walk away from situations that you want to stay in a little bit longer. Oh my God. And don't call the sting you feel anxiety. That ain't anxiety, that's pain. This is so practical. I can't wait to release this tonight. So I know my subscribers are going to have a fit. I might even do a part 2 on this for them because let me tell you something. This next level stuff. Take my little water break. Got about 30 more minutes. The stuff y'all calling pain or anxiety is really just pain. You made a hard decision. That decision was hard, but it was aligned. You're going to be all right. Put a little Band-Aid and peroxide on it. You're going to be fine. Oh, my God. You're going to be just fine. Because all of that pales in comparison to alignment. The price of misalignment will always be greater than the hurt of pain. There's another bar for y'all. This stuff ain't even in my notes. I'm flowing now. The price of misalignment will always be greater than the discomfort of pain. And some of y'all so busy whining about pain that you don't realize that misalignment is worse. You whining about how bad you feel. Cut it out. Suck it up. Suck it up. The price of misalignment will always be greater than the discomfort of pain. Always. Let me give you some other things I want you to evaluate. Now, I've got a list of about 4 or 5 things. I'm going to try to run through these things really quickly. Is this helpful? Y'all supporting the show? Y'all support the show. Let me put the ways to support the show on the screen. Y'all support the show so I can lead this up. There are a lot of people that really need this that are not subscribers. My subscribers get this stuff every week, if I'm being honest with you. If you think this is something, the lessons on Monday be next level. All of our brains be about to just bust open. So my subscribers get this, but I will be glad to give this to them. You all support the show. While I have that up, real quick. New Orleans, November the 15th. Get there. New Orleans, November the 15th. I'm going to be in New Orleans. That's in a couple of weeks. Atlanta, December the 14th, 2025 tour finale, noon. It's a Sunday. And we just added Mr. Peter Collins. He's going to be the musical guest for that stop in Atlanta. It's going to be awesome. And I'm excited about it. I'm going to be checking out the area very, 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 very soon. And just really excited about it. So, y'all support. Now, let me give you some things you can think about that's going to help you get in alignment. I've broken down to you what anxiety is. I've defeated the fact that anxiety is just this normal stress. And anxiety is really the reflection of misalignment. I've done all of that. Okay, so go back and watch it. I've done that. I've talked to you about what a nervous system is. And so now at the water cooler tomorrow, you can explain to your colleagues what a real nervous system is. It's not this crap that some of us see on social media. You regulate your nervous system by getting your thoughts, your emotions, and your spirit on the same page. That's simple. Stop overcomplicating this stuff. This gets you out of therapy for years. I lost 4 clients this week. 4. Not because they quit. They graduated. 2 of them had only been with me for like 3 months. One of them had been with me for about 9 or 10 months. The other one had been with me for about 6 or 7 months, I believe. Of the four, three of them came from traditional therapy where they had been in therapy for more than 3 years. So hard to say goodbye to yesterday, but I had no choice. Okay? Work on that nervous system. Let me give you some other things I want you to think about. I want you to think about your emotions too. Let me give you some points to consider that's going to help you with alignment. Things, let's call this section one. Hold on. I don't even think I have this numbered. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's call this 6 things to evaluate. I want to call this 6 things to evaluate. No, 6 things to monitor your alignment. Let's call it that. 6 I had to count them. I ain't have them numbered. 6 things to monitor. 6 things that will help you monitor your alignment. Let's call it that. I'm going to give you 6 things that will help you monitor your alignment. Let me run through them real quick. I got 1042. Is this helpful? Y'all supporting the show? 6 things that will help you monitor. My head is still peeling. Y'all, it's still peeling. 6 things that will help you monitor your alignment. Let's talk about it. Number 1, pay attention to your emotions. I'm telling you right now, the biggest ally to anxiety are your emotions. Your biggest ally or teammate to your anxiety, your emotions. Many of you are still being led by making emotional decisions. You're still making emotional decisions. You're still putting how you feel above what you think. The 5 areas of healing. This is your first time tuning in. Right in the corner of your journal, the 5 areas of healing in the proper order: mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, financial. Mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, financial. I did not say emotional, mental, blah, blah, blah. I said mental, emotional, spiritual, etc. Mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, financial. Why? Because your thoughts should tell your emotions how to feel. Your emotions should not tell your thoughts how to think. This is fresh out of my book, 5 Areas of Healing. If you don't have it, get it today. If you are being led by your emotions, you will be living many days with anxiety. I don't know a single person alive who is led by their emotions who don't experience anxiety. Living your life leading with emotions creates the gift that keeps on giving. It's called anxiety. Nothing will stress you out more than being led by how you feel all the time. Yeah, you're going to have some good days, but you're going to have some really bad ones too. And if you want to live your life like this, good luck. There's this thing waiting on you called whiplash. Oh my God. I don't know anybody led by their emotions who has a stable life. The greatest way to manage your emotions is what I call discipline in discomfort. Record that. Discipline in discomfort. You want to learn how to manage your emotions? Learn how to find discipline in discomfort. How do we do that? We find discipline to stick through anything that makes us uncomfortable. It is uncomfortable to pause your emotions and to think through decisions in a logical way when emotionally you want to snap and go crazy. Now, I got a client Her story is on my docket. I'll be sharing it soon. She's going to let me share it. I got a client that came to me. You know what brought her to me? She came to me because her boyfriend cheated on her in a very, very, very bad way. And she sliced his tires. Sliced his tires. When she did it, fortunately, he didn't call the police. He knew it was wrong. And a friend of hers sent her a link to one of my videos. The lady ends up becoming a client, and she has gone from reacting when things happen in her life to the extreme to now responding. See, when our emotions lead us, we react. When our thoughts lead us, we respond. And as wrong as she was, she has swung from reacting to now responding. She's doing incredibly well. It's an incredibly powerful story. And let me tell you something. All of y'all, all of us are capable of slashing tires, busting out windows, flipping over tables if we are led by our emotions. You gotta get your emotions in check. You do it through discipline and discomfort. You've got to be comfortable being uncomfortable when discipline is leading the way. Okay? Here's a second thing that'll help you monitor your alignment. I'm moving. Second thing that'll help you monitor your alignment, boundaries. Boundaries will help you create some alignment. I'm giving you some ways that you can monitor it, ways you can create it. Boundaries will help you create some alignment. When your life is not in alignment, you probably need to put up some boundaries. What's a boundary? It's a two-sided fence. And this two-sided fence protects your thoughts, your emotions. It protects your peace. It protects your energy. It protects your focus. Boundaries. Boundaries will help you to create some alignment. Because that fence is one thing for you to have a nice house, but that fence, that alarm system is an example of a boundary. That fence, that alarm system now gives you something that surrounds your house. It doesn't block people completely out, but they have limits. It doesn't lock you in, but you got limits. So create some boundaries. Boundaries, these two-sided fences that protect us from others, protect us from ourselves, that guard our focus, that guard our energy, that guard our spirit. These boundaries will help us to create some alignment. It's hard for you to have your thoughts, your emotions, and your spirit ruined and wrecked when they're protected. And if you are living a boundary-less life, you have no alignment. I know some of you are living a life and you ain't got no boundaries. I'm especially talking to you people pleasers. You anxiously attached folks that are people pleasers, that bend over backwards to try to please everybody else but you in the name of not being selfish and not being self-centered, which is completely false. You a people pleaser? I'm telling you right now, and you ain't got no boundaries, you in trouble. And a lot of you are trying to live your life without them. You cannot have an aligned life. So this anxiety that you feel is the lack of is the mental, emotional, and physical manifestation of stress because you ain't got no boundaries up. I don't be stressed out when I know I got an alarm and a fence around my house. I ain't stressed. That don't mean I'm reckless, but I ain't stressed either. So you can get your life in alignment by creating some boundaries. Number 3, I'm moving. Monitor your confidence. It's a dead giveaway. Something that I picked when I was putting this together. I was thinking about some themes and things that I've seen with people that have been out of alignment, that I've helped them to use alignment to get them back together. One of the things that I've noticed is that a lot of people that are not living in alignment, their confidence is all over the place. Oh my God. They don't see themselves the same way. They don't believe in themselves like they used to. They don't see themselves the way they should see themselves. But let me tell you something. When your thoughts, emotions, and spirit don't agree, but you still pursue stuff, it's going to take a hit on your confidence. Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example. You got peace in every area of your life but your relationships. Doc, why you keep talking about relationships? Because that's what y'all keep coming to me for. Oh my God. You got peace in every area of your life but your relationships. Your job got peace, your family got peace, your kids got peace, your money got peace, you're doing well in your career, every area of your relationships. But watch this. You're still sticking with it. For whatever reason. In the name of loyalty, in the name of history. Sometimes it's just pure stupidity. Oh my God. And making dumb decisions. Well, if you're sticking with it, but all these other areas of your life are going well, being in that bad situation will have you questioning other areas of your life that ain't got nothing to do with that bad situation. It'll have you questioning your worthiness when, if you just get out the bad relationship, you'll notice, well, your career is successful. The way you raise your kids is successful. Your money's successful. Your health is successful. But ain't it funny that when one part of your life is out of alignment, that attack on your confidence can influence every part of your life? Monitor your confidence. Lack of alignment will be an attack on your confidence. Especially when you have, oh gosh, this is really good. Especially when there's increased awareness, self-awareness. Especially with increased self-awareness. What's self-awareness? Honesty about who we are, where we are, and what we're doing. When you have increased self-awareness, Instagram, I don't know if y'all are typing comments or questions. I'm not ignoring you. I don't see anything. It's frozen. The comments are frozen. The video is going just fine. I'm sorry about that. Self-awareness is honesty about who you are, where you are, and what you're doing at any given time. Well, when you're honest about who you are, where you are, and what you're doing at any given time, that honesty that causes you to realize that parts of your life aren't in full alignment will be an attack on your confidence. It can create things like shame. It can create things like guilt, embarrassment. Those things tap away at your confidence. Okay, so monitor your confidence. Monitor your confidence. Okay? Number 4. I got 3 more to go. Is this helping? Y'all supporting the show? Support. 4th thing you can monitor. You ready? I want you to pay attention to how much you are resting. This one's going to blow you. I want you to monitor and pay attention to how much you are resting. This is a consistent thing that I've seen in my work. This is a thing that I live by. If you know me and you follow me, you know, if there's one thing I don't get a lot of, and I'm not bragging on this because I know it's not a great thing, just hear me out. I'm not bragging because this is not necessarily a great thing, but I'm using this to make a point. I don't get a lot of sleep. I don't. Take Thursday nights, which are very much the longest night of my night every week. I don't get off lives until almost 11:15, 11:20, 11:30 sometimes. By the time I shut everything down, it is after 12 when I'm laying down. And then I have to get up and work out at 4 in the morning. And on Fridays, especially when I'm traveling, I'll do 2 workouts. So I've got 2 workouts waiting on me in the morning. I don't get a lot of hours of sleep. Watch this though. You ready for this? I don't get a lot of hours of sleep, but guess what I do get that many of y'all don't get? I get rest. Oh my God. Doc, you mean to tell me sleep and rest ain't the same? Nope, they're not. You can fall asleep and still be stressed out. You can fall asleep and still be stressed out. A child, a little baby, can literally cry themselves to sleep. You as an adult can cry yourself to sleep. Ever done it? I have. I know what it's like to cry yourself to sleep. That ain't rest. That's sleep. Rest, though, is a state of mental, emotional, and spiritual peace. There's another definition for you. A state, rest is a state of mental, emotional, and spiritual peace. Which means some of y'all get more sleep than me, but you ain't get more rest. Oh my God. Because Doc ain't got no mental, emotional, or spiritual stress. I'm not going to let nobody stress me out. Oh my God. If something does not give me mental, emotional, and spiritual alignment, it ain't going to be in my life. That's why I get less sleep than you, but your eye bags are bigger than me. Mine. Oh my God. I get less sleep than you, but you always pouting more than I am. Oh my God. You ready? I get less sleep than you. You're 10 years younger than me, but you look 20 years older than I do. Uh-oh. Oh my God. I wrote about that this week. I did a video about this. Some of y'all have let people lie to you. Lie to you. When you ain't getting rest, when there is no mental, emotional, and spiritual peace in your life, the bad news is you're going to look exactly like what you've been through. Oh my God. And some of you look exactly like what you've been through. If you are 20 and you look 50, you look exactly like what you been through. And you might be sleeping every day. You ain't getting no rest. Oh my God. And some of us in our 40s and we look like we 20. And we don't get as much sleep as you do. But we get more rest than you get. Y'all better learn how to get rest. You better learn how to get mental, emotional, and spiritual peace. And that comes through alignment. Does. Number 5, fifth way to monitor your alignment. I'm almost done. 5 and 6 and I'm done. Is this helpful? Y'all supporting? Y'all not supporting. Y'all must be mad at me tonight. I don't care. This was the nice version. Some of the stuff I wanted to say, I took out my notes because, I'm already be getting reported on these channels. I don't know why. Y'all don't report torque videos. Oh my God. So I had to come up with 6 or 7, 6, 7, 6, 7. I had to come up with 6 or 7 things to help you out with. Number 5. 6, 7. Y'all don't know nothing about that. Number 5. Fifth thing you can monitor to help with your alignment. I want you to monitor your ability to disconnect without drama. I'm going to make this make sense. I want you to monitor your ability to disconnect without drama. Monitor your ability to disconnect without drama. Let me tell you why this is important. There are some things in your life that just ain't going to work. There's some jobs that ain't going to work. There's some relationships that ain't going to work. There's some family dynamics that's going to fall apart over time. There are some business ideas that you're going to try that are going to fall apart. There's just some things in your life that ain't going to work. And your ability to disconnect from things in your life without drama speaks to, for real, a sense of peace that comes only through alignment. Aligned people, people whose hearts, thoughts, and spirits agree, even when they have to disconnect from a space, they can do it and still have peace. This is why. And people will lie to you. If you're out here dating, especially talking to you single people, if you're out here dating, one of the best questions you can ask a person is, how do you manage rejection? I'll tell you why. And they can lie. So you better use some discernment. And if you ain't sure, just wait. How do you manage rejection? You know why? Because if that person can't handle rejection well, if things ever go wrong between y'all, it's going to be drama. The only people that create drama through disconnection are people who don't handle disconnection well, who don't handle rejection well. The only people that create drama through disconnection are people that don't handle rejection well. Ask the question. How do you handle rejection? When was the last time you've been rejected? Not just rejected from something you kind of wanted, rejected from something you really wanted. Somebody said, Danielle, I hope I'm saying your name right. My daughter heard you and pops in my room saying 6, 7. I had to tell her, take her butt back to bed. Miss Simmons, you tell your Simons, you tell your daughter I said, what's up? See, y'all gotta be hip. Y'all just be out of the way. I see one of my other clients on here. Child, you know my drama. Nah. I'm proud of you, C. I am. I'm proud of you, C. I see the comments on Instagram now. I just had to refresh the stream, I guess. I'm serious, y'all. How do people disconnect with drama? How do they disconnect when they reject it? This is how I know a lot of people ain't as healed as they think they are. Yeah, Doc, Doc, I've been rejected before, Doc, but I just learned how to just take it with a grain of salt. I learned how to take it with a grain of salt. I just take that rejection with a grain of salt. You do? What is that? What does the grain of salt mean? Talk. You know why? Because the first time something doesn't go their way, look at their reaction. Folk be telling themselves, watch their reaction. Stuff doesn't go their way. Watch how they react. And it's a sign. And what does some of us do? We turn the discernment off. Well, they said they can handle discernment. Maybe they're just being human. And we turn the discernment off. When things don't go their way, you better pay attention and respond. I'm telling you from experience. Pay attention and respond accordingly, because they're letting you know they don't do rejection well. That I don't get salty. Say salty with a lisp. Salty. I don't get salty. I don't get salty. Yeah, you do. You get mad when things don't go your way. Pay attention and move in a different direction. You better cut your discernment on. Or if not, these people will have you thinking something wrong with you when really they just can't handle rejection. This is why some of y'all need to support. Some of y'all need to send this to some folks. Yeah, they don't have conflict resolution skills. I'm with you, see. I'm just telling y'all, you better ask. Or else your career gonna be in first class and you're gonna have to get off that plane and wait for Mr. or Mrs. Salty to get off the plane. Because they in seat 32A. I'm not sitting back there. And y'all better stop connecting with people who like to sit in the back of the plane because they don't have conflict resolution skills. Because they can't handle rejection. Because they get all into a tizzy when things don't go their way. Some of y'all be dating and it ain't always romantic. Sometimes this is friendships. Some of y'all got some friends. Some of you have friends that can't disconnect a friendship without drama. You know, y'all have been friends for 15 years, had a disagreement, a misunderstanding. You decide to go your own way, and you're going to take 15 years and throw it in the trash, which is your choice, but you don't have enough maturity and emotional regulation to disconnect in a healthy way. Y'all don't. Yeah, some of y'all do be. Let me tell you something. I saw something that just made me shake my head. Me and the kids were riding back from the Dominican Republic. Let me share this and then I'm going to give y'all 6 and I'm done. Y'all give me about 10 more minutes. We were riding back from the Dominican Republic. And I had to sit across from the kids. So I typically ride in seat 3C or 3A. I think that's right. C is I think those are the aisle seats. I can't remember. It's typically 3C. So I was in 5. It was the last row in first. And I was on the edge because my kids were on the opposite side in first. And I had to ride near them. I wanted to be near them. Going, I was on the row ahead of them, but adjacent. So, but they're fine. My kids are pros at traveling, things like that. Well, coming back, we were all on 5. So they were on that side in 5, and I was on the opposite side in 5. So I was right there in the aisles between us, and there was a person sitting next to me. It was a woman. She was a nice lady. But her boyfriend was sitting behind us. Behind us was where Coach started. Listen to me. She's sitting behind the lady, right? So behind us, they have the curtain. Then there are 3 seats behind us. And first, it's 2 on this side, 2 on this side, 2 on this side, for the 5 rows. Then there's the curtain. Then there's 3 behind, row 5 on each side, and then 3 all the way back to the plane. Well, her boyfriend was sitting behind her in row 6 to the window. I didn't know they were boyfriend and girlfriend. They get on a plane, they're just talking coming down the aisle because I was already seated. They're talking coming down the aisle, and he just keeps going and she comes on in. And then I noticed he came in the row behind us. How did I know it? Because for the entire trip, he was reaching through the side of the seats, hitting her, playing jokes, tapping on her shoulder, saying stuff like, "Oh, you're fancy up there in first class. You fancy." I couldn't be up there. He was joking. I guess both of us couldn't ride up there. You fancy. And she was just like, "Cut it out, Scott. Cut it out, Scott. You're so funny, Scott. Cut it out. You're just such a comedian. Cut it." And he's just joking her. And then the people came to give us the warm towels and stuff. And he yelled up there, "Hey, ma'am, I'm with her. Can I have a warm towel?" And start like, ha, 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 ha. And he was just like, and she was just up there chuckling, hee, 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 hee. And meanwhile, I was getting agitated the whole time. Number one, this is why I don't sit in seat 5. Doc, you bougie. So number one, that's why I don't sit in seat 5. I'd never seen that before. I just like 3. It's kind of in the middle. So he up the whole playing the whole time. So my arm is right here. He reaches under the seat next to my arm and he taps her in her side to make her laugh. So his hand, here's my arm, his hand is coming up right here, and he taps her on the shoulder. And I'm on my arm, and I looked at his hand, and I looked at her, and I said, "Ma'am, can you get your man?" And somebody was saying, "Hey, brand success coach, good to see you." It's saying Scott was saying, here. Let me tell you something. Scott ain't had to worry about me, not at all. Because let me tell you something. Here's a word for y'all. You might be riding first class, but some folk riding and don't deserve to be up there. Oh my God. Because let me tell you something. If you in first class and you got to entertain your man who ain't in first class, and y'all can take this literally and figuratively. If you in first class and entertaining people that ain't in first class, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, what you gonna do with me? This is why some of y'all, let me just go ahead and just make this real plain. Some of y'all gonna mess around and miss what you could have because you really do belong in first class. But when you entertain people that ain't in your class, guess what it does to your value? Some of y'all would have been married by now if you would have stopped dealing with people in coach. If you would have let Scott stay back there. Some of y'all would have been in first. You would have been married by now. You would have been had the dream man, the dream woman, if you would have let Scott stay back where he was. Oh my God. So I knew sister's mentality because ain't no way in ham sandwich. I would be up there and Susie be behind me, poke me. Hey, Doc, if you don't get your tail up here or get off this plane. Here's a word. Don't y'all miss what you could have for Scott. Oh my God. Don't miss what you deserve because of Scott. see, I'm gonna put you in timeout. You know you one of my favorites, sweetheart. But I'm gonna put you. Some of y'all, you didn't met your husband, you didn't met your wife, but you fooling, you too busy messing with Scott. just t-shirt coming. Arkita, Brittany, I need a t-shirt that says "Leave Scott alone." Brittany and Arkita, if y'all are on this live, I need a shirt that says "Leave Scott alone." And I need one for men that says "Leave Sarah in the back." I'm so serious. Y'all didn't miss your husband because you playing around with Scott back then, coach, and he just agitating and annoying you in first class. He just agitated. The lady couldn't even eat her food. They brought the food out. They give her the tray first because she's on the inside. They gave her the tray, gave me the tray. I'm sitting there trying to eat, and he's still raising his hand up there. And I just finally had enough. Say, "Hey man, get Scott, man." Like, and then she turned that way and said, "You gotta cut it out. There are other people up here. Stop." Mm-mm, mm-mm. Yeah, I like that. Let's go with Sally. I'm with Sally. Let's do Sally. Leave Sally in the back. Leave Scott alone and leave Sally in the back. Don't y'all miss your husband and wife because you wasting time with Scotts and Sallies? Folk are looking at some of y'all right now, but look at where you are wasting your time. Look at what you're wasting your time on. Look at what you're wasting your time on. I'm telling you, some of y'all got the goods. Men and women, y'all got the goods. But baby, if you don't get them Scotts and Sallies out your life and stop dating them and trying to give them a chance and sit in first class, you can get with some people on your level. That's free game. I tried. You got a new, that's fine. I got a really good question. I have a newborn with a Scott. Y'all can raise that kid. You can raise your newborn with a Scott, but that don't mean Scott got to be in your life romantically. Oh, it doesn't. It doesn't. Because some of y'all made these babies before you got this information. Knowledge is power. Now we got to apply it. Leave Scott and Sally in coach. I looked at my kids, saw what was going on, and they were embarrassed. They were doing like this. We laughed. We start texting each other. And I said, and it was either Giselle and four. I think it was Giselle. Giselle said, Daddy, I give him 6 months. Oh my God. And she 13. Daddy, I give him 6 months. I said, that's generous, Giselle. Sixth and final thing to pay attention to, and I'm done. Yeah, my kids, boy, they brutally honest too. Leave Scott and Sally in coach. I like that. Tanisha, if you'll let me have that. I like that too. We might do that too. Yes, she did. Yeah, my daughter did. My kids, we talk about this stuff. We talk about this stuff. We were talking about so many people in the Dominican Republic, couples that was over there not talking. Let me tell you something. My kids, I don't just be sitting there teaching y'all. I talk to my kids. I believe in that. Yeah, we laughing at folks. Daddy, look at them. They ain't even talk. I'm telling you, my kids are very observant, very smart. Number 6, 6, 7, 6. I could split 6 up, and then we would have 6, 7. Y'all want me to split 6 up so we'll have 57? How would Scott and Sally say 6, 7? They'd be like 57. Here comes the corny nerd. If Scott and Sally split up number 6, what would it be? 57. Here's my new joke. If Scott and Sally split up 6 and 7, what would it be? 57. Oh man, I'm cracking myself up. All right, I'm hurrying up because I know somebody on TikTok is looking at their clock, Miss April. But that is a great joke. Oh my God. Sean, clip it. I need you to clock it, brother. If Scott and Sally split up 6, what would it be? 57. All right, it's 11:20. All right, let me hurry up. I know I'm clearly getting sleepy, but this is blessing me. I gotta say it one more time. If Scott and Sally decides to break up, how many weeks were they together? 57. All right, let me hurry up. I am. I'm going to say it. Y'all leave me alone. This is my show. This is my show. You don't like it, donate, and maybe the live will be up. I'm getting to it. But this is cracking me up. You hear me? All right, number 6. Sixth thing I want you to monitor for your alignment is pay attention to what I call self-induced drama. Self-induced drama. Pay attention to self-induced drama. Pay attention to self-induced drama. If you want to know if your alignment is off, look at the drama in your life and pay attention to it and see how much of that is self-induced. There's 2 types of self-induced drama. One is actions, one is attitude. 2 types of self-induced drama. Actions, and your attitude. A lot of our actions, behavior, create self-induced drama. You can't be mad if you cheating and you stressed out. Oh my God. Thank you, Leanne. I'm crazy. Y'all talking about, some of y'all talking about, I'm so threatened out. I'm so threatened out. Well, you got a whole roster and they active. They not sitting on the bench. You playing 5 people at the same time. If you cheating and playing 5 people at the same time, don't you think you're going to be a little stressed out? Your actions have created self-induced drama. Or you'd have been cheated on 5, 6 times. No. You've been cheated on 57 times. Your actions have created self-induced drama. So you have to pay attention to that, right? So there are 2 types of self-induced drama, actions and attitude. Y'all, let me tell you something. Your attitude affects everything about your life. From relationships to connections to career. Let me tell y'all something. Your attitude affects everything. If you don't like your career and you skilled, you got the degrees, you got the experience, you got all of that stuff, but you ain't moving, let me tell you a good place to start. Start with your attitude. Uh-oh. This is a true story. I'm going to end it on this. I'm going to end it on this post office story. I need 3 minutes to tell it. And I'm going to try to leave Scott and Sally out of this. True story. I went to a new post office near where I was, near where I live. The post office I used to go to, sometimes I would take packages there. They would hate to see me coming because I got these packages and stuff. And they would hate to see me. This particular post office would hate to see me coming. And you could tell, you walk in, they doing all like this. Ridiculously ghetto. Ridiculously ghetto. And FYI, in case some of y'all guessing, ghetto ain't a color, it's an attitude. Oh my God. Ridiculously ghetto. Doing all this stuff when I'm walking in. Well, I've been going to this post office for months. They had been accepting my stuff, but you could tell they didn't want to help me. They didn't want to deal with all the stuff that I had going on. Though I was a really good paying customer of that post office. They didn't want to deal with all the stuff I was going on. So, as fate would have it, 2 days ago, in between sessions, I need to run out. And I said, you know what? Let me see if I can find another post office because I got some complicated things. And I really don't feel like being around no attitude today. I don't. Let me see if I can find, just try, even if it's further out. Well, lo and behold, there's a post office that's just 2 miles, longer of a drive. It's in a different direction, but 2 miles longer. I said, let me try this post office. I walk in. I got some packages and stuff. I got my usual complicated stuff. I walk in. And when I walked in, white gentleman behind the counter, there were 2 people in front of me. He sees me in line. I got this stuff there, and I'm looking at him because he's the only one in there. And I'm thinking to myself, Lord, this man, he's going to probably, I got to do all of this stuff. And so I walked up to the counter. He came to me. He said, hey, hi, sir. I love your hat. I said, thank you. He said, what can I help you with? So I told him what I needed. He said, He said, so how have you normally processed it? He says, this is your first time here. I've never seen you before. I said, yes, sir. He said, how have you normally processed this? And so I told him what the other post office has been having me do. And how when I walked in, I was doing what they asked me to do, but they were really frustrated about it. He said, oh, he said, let me tell you why they're frustrated. He said, because there's this form you can use that if you just use this form, you can put some things on this form, and then that way you can process things a whole lot faster by just passing them the form. They'll give you a buggy and you can go from there. Da, da, da. So he's explaining this. I said, just a form? He said, yes, sir. That's it. I said, so you're telling me that I've been going to this post office for nearly a year, and they've been getting frustrated and getting attitudinal with me when all they had to do was just say, hey, sir, there's a form you can use that you can do this, is this, and it'll make you coming in and out faster. You don't have to worry about all this stuff. And I said, just the form. He said, yes, sir. That's all it took. He showed me what the form was. He said, well, you don't have it today. He said, but don't worry about it. Let's do it the way you've been doing it. But here's the form. This is what you need. Do this, do this, do this. And that's that. The man fixed my problem in 4 minutes. And you know what I learned? Let me tell you what I learned. Some folk ain't getting promoted because they got a bad attitude. Some people, your attitude is the reason you are working where you are, and you deserve to be there. Oh my God. You cannot have a Popeye's attitude working at Chick-fil-A. You cannot have a Popeye's attitude working at Chick-fil-A. And so here I am doing all of this stuff for months and months and months and months and months on end. And instead of them helping me solve it, they were so frustrated and so attitudinal about what I needed that they didn't have the patience to just tell me. And this gentleman just met me, and he's earned a new customer. I'm not going back to that post office. I will carve it into my schedule, the time necessary to drive to the one that I need to, because the service is right. If you don't like where you're working, fix your attitude. You might get a better job. And I don't mean no shade, because I have friends that work for the post office, but let me tell you something. Them attitudes, they don't even deserve a post office job. Oh my God. Your attitude can create self-inflicted drama, self-induced drama. And fortunately, I ain't ghetto like them, so I wasn't giving back to them what they was giving to me. I have business to take care of. I don't care about that. And in the words of my kids, if you don't like working here, why are you here? My kids, that's how my kids talk. Where do you think they got that from? We have gone to restaurants, and folk have walked up to us. We went to this restaurant, last story, and I'm gone because it's 11:29. This lady walked up. She was the waitress. She walked up with her pad and just stood at the table. She didn't say nothing. She walked up and stood at the table. My kids looked at me like, you know what I said? Slide over. I'm trying to see something on that wall. Oh my God. Right hand raised. Ma'am, can you move out the way? I'm trying to see something on that wall. You know what she said? I'm sorry. I'm just here to take your order. Then why didn't you say that? You can have a skill set. You can have degrees, but your attitude will be a true reflection of where you're working. Your attitude will be a true reflection. Your attitude will be a true reflection of your ability to be mobile. There are people that are less talented than you that have better attitudes that will do better. Y'all don't like this. I don't care. Thank you for your support, Angela. There are a whole lot of people that ain't as smart as you, that ain't as degreed as you, that ain't as connected as you, that ain't as intelligent as you, that's doing better because they got something you ain't got, a good attitude. And that, my friends, can create some misalignment as well. Was this helpful? True story, man. Like, was this helpful at all? I hope it was. Hey, the ways to support the show on the screen. You got 30 minutes. You got 30 minutes. The ways to support the show are on the screen. I want to leave it up, but if it is not right in 30 minutes, it will go to subscribers. Period. It's fine. Sometimes you have high nights, sometimes you have low nights. Support the show. I hope this was helpful. Real quick, while I got you here as you're starting to get off, real quick announcements. Let me just throw some things on the screen real quick so you see it. You don't have the copy of the book. Don't make it happen. Let it go. Get it right away. They're flying off the shelf. They're almost sold out, believe it or not. 5 Areas of Healing, you know about. The journal, The Work, is in rotation. And it's selling really well. Get the journal. It is 426 pages, over 900 writing prompts. If you're really interested about journaling. New Orleans. Check out my tour stop in New Orleans, November the 15th. I would love to see you there, 2 p.m. It's going to be great. Really good deal on tickets there to give back to that city in honor of the 20 years of Hurricane Katrina. Atlanta, last stop of the 2025 tour, December the 14th. Y'all know y'all like Atlanta. Get a plane ticket. I don't care where you live. If you in Jersey, if you in New York, if you in LA, if you in Charlotte, if you in Miami, if you in Alabama, get a ticket. Spend the weekend in Atlanta. I want to see you there. We got special guest Peter Collins that's going to be there. He's outstanding. I can't wait till you guys experience his music live. If you've never experienced it live, you may have heard it online, but he's outstanding and excited to have him with us. All right. So support the show. Appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I know we were here a long time. Whew, that 6-7 has tickled me tonight. I'm gonna go back and watch that and just laugh at me. I appreciate all of you. Have a tremendous weekend. We'll have some content coming out this weekend. Peace and blessings. I'll see you soon. Take care.